Welcome to MattzoTrainController. In this video I am giving you a little bit more details about the MattzoTrainController for Bluetooth. The MattzoTrainController for Bluetooth is one of the major achievements in firmware 0.5. It controls powered up units from Lego and SBricks from SBrick. The firmware of the MattzoTrainController for Bluetooth was developed by MattzoTrainController's core development team member Raymond Brink. Thank you very much, Ray, for this wonderful piece of software. While most of you should be familiar with Lego powered up hubs, at least if you bought a standard Lego train set during the last couple of years, many people are not so familiar with the SBrick yet. The SBrick is a little Bluetooth device that can connect up to 4 power functions appliances, train motors or power functions light, for example, and is extremely versatile and handy because you don't have to solder any electronics anymore that you would have to do when you build a MattzoTrainController for power functions, for instance. And of course, you can use all of your power functions, motors and lights that you probably have in your shelf. That makes this device really handy, especially when you're not daring or you don't want to bother too much around with electronics. It's really a Lego style. You buy this device, put the power functions plug on it, and you're basically ready to go. While you're usually controlling an SBrick with a mobile phone app or from your smartphone, we do this a little bit different now. We are controlling Lego power up hubs and SBricks with the MattzoTrainController for Bluetooth. The device is a simple ESP32 microcontroller that you can buy very easily and for a couple of dollars on Amazon or AliExpress or a couple of other dealers on the internet. And the only thing you have to do is to upload the firmware to it, which is available on the MattzoTrainController's website. And then you're basically ready to connect your trains to the MattzoTrain Automation System 2.0. Integrating both powered up hubs and SBricks into Lego trains is a pretty simple task. Just to give you an example, I've done that here with the ice train and recorded that as a little speed build. In this example, both locos are fitted with an SBrick, Lego Power Functions lights, and of course Lego Power Functions train motors. The infrared receiver from Lego is then not required anymore. You can remove it from the train and get rid of it. Please note that the locos are 2 studs longer than normal. That is an extension that I did some time ago for optical reasons. It's not functionally required, so if you do that or not, that is purely up to you, of course. And the basic idea, the basic idea is of course the same. So here we go with the speed build. So here's the result. What I forgot in the speed build is actually to integrate the magnets into the train. That is not 100% required, of course, because the train motor will also activate the sensors here on the layout. But as we want to stop this train as early as possible, because the loco itself is also a passenger compartment, so it should be somewhere here at the train station that people can or minifigs can disembark the train. We want the magnets to be as much as possible in the front. So here is a little magnet with 2 single Technic bricks, and this fits perfectly with the front compartment of the train. Magnet is inside and very much in the front, so perfect solution for that. Okay, then let's see how this works. Put the train on the tracks again, and now we just need to power up our MattzoTrainController for Bluetooth. Here it is. And then we're going to power up our train. You see the little blue light there, that's actually from the SBricks. We can test if the trains have connection to the MattzoTrainController for Bluetooth simply by, well, letting the train run or switching the lights on and off. I'm trying this here. And what you should see, I hope you see it, is that the lights are switching off very nicely and gently here. Ray did a wonderful job to switch the lights on and off here. Automatic lights are also supported, but for the demonstration here, I'm going to stick with the manual lights. So now let's check if the motor is receiving a command. It does. I can hear something, and here it goes. Very beautiful. Okay. So then let's check if we can go for a ride. I'm switching the auto mode on in Rock Rail. Start the train, and here we go. Very nice. So there is a second train here. That is a train which is equipped with Lego powered up hubs. I'm switching it on as well, which is actually very handy. Is if you integrate it into the train, that you can see the little light on top of the Lego powered up hub here, to check if the train has actually connected. Now I can see here the little red light that is perfectly working, and I'm not sure if it's connected here. Oh yes, it has. I see the light as well. The lights are actually turning, well, they stop to flash and then they turn from white to red within 1 or 2 seconds. That's an indication that the train is connected to the MattzoTrainController for Bluetooth and that it's actually presently stopping. As you remember, there was another controller that we have published a couple of firmwares ago. That was the MattzoTrainController for Powered Up. That connected only to Lego Powered Up, and in this controller you had to connect all of the devices one by one in a specific order in which you had configured that in the controller. This limitation does not apply to the MattzoTrainController for Bluetooth, so you can connect any train which is configured in the controller at any time, and you also don't have to connect all of them. So if you're running just one train, for instance, that's fine, just to power up the train. The controller will then operate only that train. But if you have multiple locos in a single train, you have to power them up all, else the train won't move at all. So that is a safety feature to prevent a motorized unit of the train from being dragged over the layout for a longer period of time, of course. Okay, so let's give it a try and see if that Lego powered up train is working. Let's start train. This is a small layout, so we don't have a problem with Bluetooth connectivity in terms of range here. But this is different when your layout is growing more and more, or you build a layout on the carpet and do it through your house and your garden. Then of course the Bluetooth range will not be sufficient for keeping the connection between the train and the controller up. The solution for that is that you have to deploy the MattzoTrainController for Bluetooth in the train. Just put it in a wagon or in the loco, and then this device will travel with the train, and then of course you will have no problems with Bluetooth reception anymore. The MattzoTrainController for Bluetooth itself is of course connected via MQTT to Rockrail over Wi-Fi, but Wi-Fi has a significantly larger range, and it's also easily to extend that range with a Wi-Fi mesh or a second Wi-Fi hotspot. So the solution for that on large layouts, you can still use SBricks, still use Lego powered up units, but you need to put the controller into the controller into the train. There's another advantage that comes with that, because that little controller here has about 16 more or less I/O pins, and you can use those pins for output and attach some LEDs to it. So you can fit your train with interior lighting, have some extended front and rear lights, have different colors for the rear lights. That is all possible if you put that controller into the train, and you can do a lot more things if you're good with soldering, of course, and like to tinker around a little bit and have a lot of functionality in your train. The disadvantage of deploying the MattzoTrainController for Bluetooth into the train is of course that you need to power it up, so it needs a little battery. And the second drawback is that you need one controller for each train that you have. So it's not so expensive to buy those controllers, but I'm just saying it, you need a little bit of more hardware, and you also need a battery for it. So as a summary, I must say that after a couple of weeks of testing here, I'm really not missing the old MattzoTrainController for powered up a lot. That MattzoTrainController for Bluetooth is really working stable and is working great, easy to configure as far as I'm concerned. And Raymond has really done a great job here. Thank you again, Ray, for that and your contribution. I hope you find this controller as useful as I do. And if you want to build your own MattzoTrainController for Bluetooth, just check the MattzoBricks website at MattzoBricks.com. There is a section, Controllers, MattzoTrainController for Bluetooth. Just buy one of those little controllers here. You need a USB cable, and then you can connect it to your PC and upload the firmware. How to upload the firmware is also described on the website. It's on the first view it looks very challenging, but if you follow the instructions closely, it should be doable for most of people. Don't be afraid, don't be scared off too quickly. After a while you will have figured it out, and we're also working on solutions to make this significantly easier. of uploading the firmware. A quick side note, you may have seen those little beautiful semaphore light signals here. I built them during the last couple of months. If you are interested in those, check the website. There are some building instructions, and I'm also going to publish a dedicated video how to build those signals as well, how to motorize them, how to lighten them up, and how to automate them, how to integrate them into the automation system here. So if you want to make sure that you don't miss that, please subscribe to our social media channels, especially the YouTube channel then, of course. Thank you very much for watching. As always, in the end, I'm letting the trains run a little bit, and enjoy.